Over 350,000 visitors to Hong Kong in the first 2 days of the Lunar New Year. Donald Trump blames DEI policies for the DC plane collision. And in Serbia, university students set off on a 2-day march as a protest movement widens. Hello and welcome to TVB News. I'm Melissa Hekalea. Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Rosanna Law says over 350,000 travelers arrived in the city on the first 2 days of the Lunar New Year holidays. About 180,000 of them are mainlanders. As of 4 p.m. today, over 670,000 people entered and left Hong Kong via different checkpoints. Mimo Singai has the story.
The Shenzhen Bay control point was packed with local and mainland travelers early this morning. Many of them traveled with families. Some said they would return home on the same day. I joined a tour group which only cost me $68. I will go to Sha Tin Racecourse and do some shopping later, this Guangzhou tourist said. I went to eat sweetheart cakes from Yunlong before taking the MTR to the Yau Tin Mong district to shop, this mainlander said. Despite the cloudy weather during the day, tourists gathered at the Avenue of Stars in Tsim Sha Tsui to take pictures.
Really like it. It was my first time on the Chinese New Year celebration. Yeah, I find it like a bit expensive compared with my city, my country. But it's still affordable.
Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Rosanna Law said the festive event over the past 2 days was successful in attracting tourists. She said the number of mainland visitors arriving in Hong Kong on Tuesday was 187,138, while there were 28,885 tourists from overseas. Meanwhile, a hotel representative said they had received more bookings from short-stay travelers from the mainland during this Lunar New Year holiday, while there was a decrease in the number of overseas tourists. They said the overall hotel booking rate exceeded 80%, which is similar to the previous year. Number 9. TVB News.
Nearly 86,000 people went to the racecourse today to watch the Chinese New Year race. Among them were 9,700 tourists, breaking the record for international visitor numbers at the racecourse. Jackie Lin reports.
The first race day of the Year of the Snake, racegoers and revelers filled the Sha Tin racecourse, hoping to strike some luck for the new year. A spin of the windmill to reel in good fortune. All visitors could take home a windmill fortune pan as a memento too on a special race day that drew local punters and tourists alike.
We are following all the events of the new year. So we had the parade, yesterday the fireworks.
The Italian New Year is very different.
Yeah, we celebrate in a different way.
I love the horse racing in Hong Kong. It's very nice. It's a very nice vibe. You know, everyone's together, everyone's having fun. We don't have horse racing in Canada.
This racegoer said he doesn't gamble much and he's just betting a few $100s to try his luck at the start of the new year. Also at the racecourse was Financial Secretary Paul Chan. Various performances kicked off the Chinese New Year race day. The centerpiece was, of course, the lineup of 11 races. Some tourists from the mainland planned a trip to the racecourse to feel the thrill. Among the highlights of the day was Race 6, vying for the Chinese New Year Cup. 11 horses charging along the 1,400-meter course. Number 3 horse Green and White with Hugh Bowman aboard caught up from behind and brought home the trophy. The prizes, which include a gold ingot, were awarded by Financial Secretary Paul Chan.
Happy New Year! Visitors can enter a lottery by scanning the QR code on the admission gift package with a chance to win gold ingots. Still, the main draw of the day is a special jackpot for the Chinese New Year race day. Along with the Mark 6 lottery, there will be a total of $228 million in prizes for the first month of the Lunar New Year. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has blamed diversity initiatives introduced by the Biden administration for undermining air safety. This after a mid-air collision between a passenger plane and a military helicopter at Ronald Reagan National Airport near Washington, D.C. All 67 people on board the two aircraft are believed to have died, including 2 Chinese nationals. The black boxes from the American Airlines plane have been recovered, and authorities say they will leave no stone unturned in their probe into the disaster. Tracy Furness has more.
President Donald Trump signed a presidential memorandum on aviation safety, which he says will undo damage done to related federal agencies by his predecessor. Trump, without citing evidence, said federal diversity initiatives brought in by the Biden administration contributed to the crash. He said the Federal Aviation Administration was encouraged to recruit workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative.
Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that, but we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Democrats pushed back at Trump's blame game.
I just watched some of Donald Trump's press conference about the tragedy last night, and it was disgusting.
It's one thing for internet pundits to spew off conspiracy theories. It's another for the President of the United States to throw out idle speculation as bodies are still being recovered and families still being notified. It just turns your stomach.
Retired Army pilot Darrell Feller used to fly the D.C. route a few times a week, both at night and in the daytime.
For aircraft to land on 3-3 it's not unusual, but it wasn't the norm. And I had that exact same incident several years ago where I was flying south down the route at night, and there was a commercial jet landing on 3-3, and I could not see him. I lost him in the city lights there in Anacostia around DIA. You can't see them.
The American Airlines Bombardier CRJ-700 aircraft was found upside down in 3 sections in waist-deep water. First responders were searching an area of the Potomac River as far south as the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, almost 5 kilometers south of the airport. NTSB investigators have recovered the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder from the downed jetliner, and they have been sent to their labs for evaluation. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Hundreds of Serbian university students are on a 2-day, 80-kilometer march from the capital, Belgrade, to the northern city of Novi Sad. They're protesting alleged government corruption over a deadly canopy collapse at a railway station in Novi Sad that killed 15 people in November. The students plan to join a massive blockade of Novi Sad's bridges on Saturday to mark 3 months since the huge concrete construction fell on people below on November 1st. The immediate cause for the strike was an attack on drama students on January 24th by pro-government thugs during a daily 15-minute commemoration for the victims of the canopy collapse. The country's ruling coalition, meanwhile, began talks to form a new government after Prime Minister Miloš Vučević resigned over the incident. President Alexander Vučić has 30 days to propose a new prime minister before an election is held. Still ahead, rebel forces in the Democratic Republic of Congo vowed to take their fight to the capital city of Kinshasa. And in Peru, tours of a shanty town in the capital city. Rwanda-backed rebels who captured eastern Congo's largest city said they want to take their fight to the capital, Kinshasa. This as Congo's president called for a massive military mobilization to resist the M23 group of rebels. Corine Nanga, one of the M23 leaders, said they want to march all the way to Kinshasa, 1,500 kilometers away from the city of Goma. The M23 rebels also said they'd be open to dialogue with the Congolese government. They asked residents to go about their daily lives. The M23 rebels are backed by some 4,000 troops from neighboring Rwanda, which it says is defending itself against ethnic Hutu militias. Peru is best known for its attractions such as Machu Picchu and Lake Titicaca. In recent years, local travel agencies have rolled out alternative tour groups in hopes of teaching tourists about the lesser-known side of the Andean nation. Jackie Lin reports.
Lined with mansions and hotels, this upscale neighborhood is one of the wealthiest districts making up the Peruvian capital of Lima. Under the same sky, a huge divide between the rich and the poor in the Andean nation. About 9.8 million people in Peru, nearly a third of its population, are living in poverty. Many people can't afford to rent a house in the city and build their own shacks on the hillside. The exuberance of paints and colors of these board and tin hovels has formed a unique tapestry across a squattered settlement, also a unique fare for tourists. Some travel agencies run half-day tours of the shanty towns. TVB News joined one to visit one of Peru's largest slums, which is home to more than 500,000 people. Many slum dwellers have lived here for more than a decade.
I came from central Peru. I thought Lima was full of opportunities and moved here hoping to improve my livelihood, but I didn't know it costs that much to live here.
The shantytown is not as dangerous as people imagined. Our biggest difficulty is the lack of drinking water. We hope the government can send more water trucks over.
This 10-kilometer-long concrete wall stands as a stark reminder of Lima's socio-economic divide, separating the city's wealthy and impoverished. In 2023, authorities ordered the barrier be demolished because of its discriminatory nature. Little progress has been made so far. The slum tours cost about 400 Hong Kong dollars per person. The tour guide Edwin says most fees will be used to buy food for the slum dwellers.
To tell the children and everyone that they are important. They are people from other countries that they want to visit them. So we make them feel special, help them to their self-confidence grow up. Many more kids are learning English and they're finding a good job in hotels and restaurants.
Jackie Lin, TVB News.
Back locally, a man went into a coma after falling into the sea from a cargo ship off Lamma Island and was later certified dead at hospital. The man was taken by a government flying service helicopter to Eastern Hospital. At about 11:30 a.m., the police received a report that a man had fallen into the sea. An investigation into the cause of the accident is underway. The Society for Community Organizations said the government should maintain the $2 transport concession for senior citizens. This comes as a review for the scheme is underway. Mimo Singhai reports.
62-year-old Ian works as a security guard and earns $13,000 a month. Ian travels from Sumshobo to work in Shunwan 6 days a week. On this day, she picked the MTR as a transport option. Under the $2 concession scheme, the journey only cost her $4. Without the concession, the fare is $18.4. The government is currently reviewing the scheme, and some people worry that authorities will adjust the concession, including Ian. She said her burden will increase if the fare is changed. Also need to pay rent, which is several $1,000s a month, and to buy groceries, she added. The concession scheme was proposed in 2011 under the then Chief Executive Donald Tsang. It was former Chief Executive Carrie Lam who lowered the eligible age for the scheme from 65 to 60. Such an expansion has led to plenty of debate. Ivan Lin of the Society for Community Organization said the $2 scheme can generate multiple benefits, such as growth in consumption and employment. Lawmaker Gary Zhang said the inflation rate over the next 5 years may range from 5 to 10%. He said the government needs to pay compensation whenever bus companies increase their fares. Zhang said public transport companies should share some of the government's expenditure if they are in profit. Numbers 9, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.